I've spent the last few months obsessing over game inventories, and I think I made one of the best inventory frameworks for Unity. That's a bold claim, I know. And it's not like this framework has some crazy, mind-blowing features. It's just a straightforward implementation which follows good software architecture patterns. It's scalable, easy to use, and easy to extend. Let me show you. The first feature is complete separation of data and UI. You can think of it like the model view controller pattern, or MVC for short, where the model is the inventory and the items, the view is the UI that displays that inventory, and the controller is what glues them together and it makes changes to the inventory based on user input. Let's talk about the model. This is the core of RPG items. Here, everything is built out of pure C# classes, interfaces, and structs. There's no game objects, no mono behaviors, and no UI. This is good for a few reasons. Reduces dependencies and coupling, makes it easily testable. If you don't have engine references, you can easily run tests without having to enter play mode, load scenes, assets, or anything like that. It uses less memory, performs better, and is easier to save and load from disk. And last but not least, it's also easy to integrate with different types of views, which gets us to the next point, the view. This is the UI. At the moment, the UIs that are included in the package are implemented using UGUI. This is the traditional game object-based UI for Unity. However, since the model is completely separate from the view, one could easily implement a view system using UI Toolkit, which I'll probably do at some point for this asset. You could even go a completely different direction if you wanted, and make a view represented by 3D objects. The controller is also game object and monobehavior based, and it just decides what happens when you click an item slot, drag it, or perform any other type of input. The second feature is that inventories operate based on transactions. What that means is that any changes made to an inventory, like adding, removing, or moving items from one inventory to another, is recorded in a transaction object, and if any operation inside that transaction fails, you can cancel the transaction and all inventories involved will be rolled back to their previous state. It's basically an undo system for inventories. Let's say you have a crafting system with a recipe that requires 2 items and gives the player 2 new items. How do you check if the player has enough space to complete the craft? Do you check how much space the player has right now? What if they don't have space right now but would have space after the ingredients are removed? Maybe you always try to remove the ingredients first. But what if that opens up space for one of the new items but not the other one? Do you then try to manually roll everything back? At some point, operations like this become very messy. But with transactions, it's incredibly easy. You just attempt each action one by one, and if any of them fail, you cancel the transaction and everything goes back to where it started. And it's not just an undo system. A transaction represents a set of atomic operations. That means either they all succeed or they all fail. It's a very powerful concept that allows you to implement complex, multi-inventory interactions in a straightforward way. It's basically how databases or banking systems work. Another area that I wanted to be very intentional about is how items themselves are instantiated and stored during all phases of the application. In the editor, how you define items, what properties they have, what they are called, etc. At runtime, what information and behavior an item actually has in-game, and at serialization, how and what you save about an item in order to load it back in when the player reopens the game. So here's how items are structured. In the editor, you deal with item definitions. This is where you define all the data and asset references that you need to create the item. At runtime, an item factory system gets the item definition. It may also get an item save data object, more on that in a second, plus any other systems or data in your game that you need to instantiate items, like loot tables, loot modifiers for special monsters or loot modifiers from the player's stats. And from all of that, it creates a runtime item. Runtime items always have a reference to the item definition that created them. They may also have references to other game systems to give them the behavior you want. Perhaps weapons hold references to a damage system and a health system. And then, when you save the game, the item factory also converts runtime items into item save data objects. And these store only the required data needed to reconstruct the item the next time the game starts. For example, it should store the item definition ID, as well as any other unique attributes of that item. Runtime items are themselves also separated into two categories: instance items and singleton items. Instance items are items that have unique properties. For example, in a game where equipment has durability, even two identical swords, with all of the same stats, still have to be considered two distinct instances of the sword class, since they can have different durability values. And usually, items like that also can't be stacked precisely because they are distinct items. On the other hand, singleton items are items that are exactly the same in every way. Let's say, for example, a gold coin. Gold coins don't have durability. They don't have any properties that may differ from one gold coin to another. If I have a stack of 200 gold coins, I don't need 200 instances of the gold coin class. I just need a single item stack, which references one gold coin instance and says I have 200 of them. And if another character in the game also has a stack of gold coins, his stack should also reference the same gold coin instance. An item stack is a struct, which means it gets allocated on the stack. Yeah, so an item stack is allocated on the stack. There's a joke in here somewhere. So if a player repeatedly buys and sells items, which repeatedly creates and destroys stacks of coins, we're not instantiating any coin items, which means there's no allocations for the garbage collector to come and tank our FPS later. With all of this said, I think it's a pretty cool system. In fact, I think it's so cool that I'm considering selling it on the Unity Asset Store. Now, hang on, before you close the video or leave an angry comment, I'm not going to lock this behind a paywall. I'm still going to release tutorials covering the whole system for free right here on YouTube. That might sound contradictory. Why would I release this as a paid asset, but then also make it available for free? Well, the main goal of this channel is to bring value and knowledge to other game developers. So the reasons that make me think this is worth money are the same reasons that make me think it's an excellent opportunity to teach people how to make this kind of stuff. So you can either follow the tutorials and build the entire system yourself for free while learning how it works. So if you can't afford or simply don't want to spend any money, you don't have to. Or if you just want to get the code, you don't feel like writing it yourself, or you like what I do and would like to support me, you can buy it on the store. That would get you the entire code base, any future updates, and of course, access to priority support. I'd love to hear your opinions on this in the comments down below. Maybe you think it's a silly business model, maybe you think it's cool, but in any case, I'd like to hear what you think.